करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गुप्ता कांता राधा कांता नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we're going to discuss. So if you remember, we discussed about Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Panch Tattva. We discussed about Goswamis, right? So after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in 1486 to 1534. This is the time he stayed on the planet, and then he went close his pastime. Then afterward, the six Goswamis were preaching, and Jeev Goswami was the latest. He was there some 16th century, some 1600 AD around. There, Jeev Goswami was there. Then after Jeev Goswami, he was training three devotees, Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamanand Prabhu, and Srinivas Acharya. So they were all six, and Jeev Goswami, so their Diksha Gurus were different, but their Siksha Guru was Srila Jeev Goswami. So in our parampara, our parampara is Siksha parampara, right? There, where Siksha Guru has a very great importance in the life of a disciple. So Jeev Goswami was personally training the three Goswamis, Narottam Das Thakur, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted before only that Narottam Das Thakur will come. Now, after the time of Narottam Das Thakur, the Mughals have actually destroyed the Vrindavan there, and they created so many problems in Vrindavan Dham. Then after Narottam Das Thakur, the great Acharya came is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur again revived Vrindavan, and his disciple Baldev Vidyabhushan defended our Sampradaya. Then came Bhaktivinoda Thakur in 1838, almost 190 years before, 187 years before, 1838. And that time was the rule of the Britishers. In such a, but what has happened, because Mughals have done a lot of torture on all Hindus and all the practitioners, even the Vaishnavas. So many of the Babajis were retiring in the forest, and there was no much active preaching of Hare Krishna of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going on, because the because of the situations. But this Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's a Nitya Siddha devotee from the spiritual world, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur comes and establishing the preaching again. And therefore, we understand if this Acharyas would not have been there, we would not have got what we have got today. Right? Especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada. So they have the model. So after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Goswamis, Narottam Das Thakur, in between only Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as Acharya came. So there was a gap of 200-300 years, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur again revived. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted that all over the world my name will happen, and it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who had faith in that teaching. And few days back, one week back, 1.5 weeks back, was the appearance and disappearance day of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit. I think just 10 days back, something like that. It was there. So we should know about this Acharyas and why we should celebrate this days and how they are so important. Right? So now coming, so first we'll have the life of Bhakti Thakur, and it's very, very inspiring life, because he was not a brahmachari, he was not a sannyasi, but he was a grasta and a district magistrate, and he had 10 children. Sometimes mothers have 1 or 2 children and think how to practice Krishna consciousness, isn't it? But Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 10 children. With that, he was practicing Krishna consciousness, and he was a district magistrate. Right? If we are a software company, we think, how will you practice Krishna consciousness? So much time goes. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is having 10 children and a district magistrate, and he's practicing powerfully Krishna consciousness. Can you imagine that? So Acharya showed example that you cannot give any excuse not to practice Krishna consciousness. If you have to see where there's a desire, there is a way. So where there is a desire, there is a so I've been teaching Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So as I said, after long gap of 350 years, the Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur came to illuminate the Gaudiya sky. So we'll see how his childhood. So he was born in Biranagar, and he's coming in the line of a great devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu named Krishnanand Datta. And childhood name of Bhaktivinoda Thakur was Kedarnath Dutt. So he began his schooling as 5 years when he was 5 years. But the problem is, when he was 11 years, his father passed away, and family fell into a condition of poverty. And that time, Kedarnath uncle Kashi Prasad, who had mastered British education, came to Gurugram after the death of his maternal grandfather. His uncle schooled young Kedarnath in Calcutta at his home. This was at first resisted by the boy's mother and assisted his uncle by judging manuscripts submitted to newspapers and studied uncle's books. So Kashi Prasad Ghosh. So who held him to study. And he became an expert. In fact, at the age of 18, he entered college. See, those times to enter college, I think, was a rare thing. But in those days, he there and started writing extensively in both English and Bengali. He lectures in both languages, Bengali and English, and taught speech making to a person who later became a well-known orator in British Parliament, how to make a speech. And brother of Rabindranath Tagore, Dujendranath Tagore, the Nobel Prize, was Kedarnath's best friend during these years. And he assists Kedarnath in his studies of Western Buddhist literatures. And because there was a lot of influence of Brahmo Samaj at that time, which was an impersonal path. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he got the teachings of Christianity. And he found Christianity more interested than impersonalism because it talks about God. But when he read Srimad Bhagavatam, he struggled a lot to get a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam. See, now we are so fortunate. You just order and Bhagavatam set next day is in your home. Or you come to the Sunday morning to the center or temple and you get the Bhagavatam set. You don't have to think also. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to get a copy of Bhagavatam and to get a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he struggled hard. Can you imagine? Because those days, if you need, see now if you need a copy of Bhagavatam, what you have to do? Just even call a devotee, Bhagavatam will reach your home. Devotees are so eager to. Okay, so now Bhadra Purnima is coming, right? Bhadra Purnima, somebody who does not have Bhagavatam, they can invite Bhagavatam to their home. And keeping Bhagavatam in home is like keeping Krishna in your home. Right? Yeah. So, and we sometimes have ceremonies, we come to home, have a lecture, have Aarti for Bhagavatam. So I think we have gone also many homes. Bhavana Mataji's home, we had Bhagavatam installation. I think some more devotees' home, we had a Bhagavatam installations. And that's very special. So, I think Ipsita Mataji's home, we had Bhagavatam installation just some time back there. And so, but he had so much time because if you need a copy of Bhagavatam, people do hand scribbling, and hand scribbling will take 6 months' time. Yeah, so much it was not there. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur came, that was the time the printing press started in 1700 and 1800 and something there. So it was not very commonly, found books printed with the printing press there. And when he read Srimad Bhagavatam, he felt there is no sublime religion like this there of Vaishnavism. And then when he got Chaitanya Charitamrita, he said, this is a top box. Nothing better than this. The message of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There. So first, he found Christian religion better than impersonalism because it talked something about God, the love for God and humanity thing. So now his profession. So he was married at the age of 12. At those times, the marriage will happen at the age of 12. But the husband and wife will not live together. And astrologically, they will match the compatibility of the wife and children, the wife and the husband. And marriages will stay. Divorces won't happen. Nowadays, though even the boy and girl choose each other, but still so much divorce happens with it. So the husband and wife, they will live separately in their home only. Only when the girl attained puberty, then they were actually brought together. So deciding to become a school teacher, he saw business means a lot of cheating. So he thought, let me become a school teacher. And establish a school for English education in the Kendrapara village near Chutigram in Odisha, thus becoming a pioneer English teaching in that state. Recently, Sundar Shampoo went to the one school and he saw Bhaktivinoda Thakur's name, who has established the school. And later he went to Puri and passed the teacher's examination and got a teacher's post in a Cuttack school. And he was a headmaster of Bhadra school. So he did a lot of schooling there. And then his wife died, so he married Bhagwati Devi. And he was always praying, Lord, give me a son. See, he had a mission. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was living in a mission. And what was the mission of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? Can anybody say what was the mission of Bhaktivinoda Thakur?
He spread Krishna consciousness.
Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted. What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted? Prithite Achiti Nagaradigram Sarvatram Morena. So to make this Avani successful, he needed a powerful Acharya. The himself is a powerful Acharya, but he wanted somebody, the Lord sent Eminary come and he spread this Krishna consciousness. So at Jagannath Puri, he was praying to the Lord, give me a son who can spread the Krishna consciousness. So in Grihastha life, producing children is good. If you pray to the Lord, give me a son who can spread your mission, who can take this teaching to the whole world. If somebody want to have ambition, you know what is the best ambition? That let me reach out to lakhs of people to give your Krishna consciousness, my Lord. Right? And mothers want to train their children, should train their children in such a way that they do their duties nicely, but they preach the message of Krishna consciousness there. And it's not that everybody has to become a brahmachari to preach. Even grihasthas can preach, right? So, because people have their natural inclinations. So that is the best service a mother can do. Train his child in Krishna consciousness. And to bigger children, which will come being asset. So therefore, grihasthas and their children are a big asset to Krishna consciousness. Like Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur was born in the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? There. So though he had 10 children, but one of the children became a great acharya. And he prayed. And actually, when Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur was born, Bimla, he named him Bimla Prasad because of mercy. Then when he was born, the Jagannath cart stopped at the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which is now Chaitanya Gaudiya Mutt, the birthplace of Sri Bhaktivedanta Thakur. And for days together, the car did not move. Now this time you heard Jagannath car did not move in the first day, no matter how much they hired their child. And Balaram chariot also couldn't, because it runs by the will of the Lord, not by the thing. So those time also Jagannath's chariot stopped at the house. When Bhagwati Devi, she came out with child Bimla Prasad, and Lord's garland fell on Bimla Prasad, who's Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. Then the chariot started moving. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, whatever the child I prayed for, I got that child. There. So So much thought. And how Bhaktivinoda Thakur trained Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that's also very amazing. You can see. So he was born in 1874 as his fourth son at Puri. And other children, Ananda Prasad, Radhika Prasad, Kamla Prasad, many other Prasad. All were Prasad there. Then he became a district magistrate in 1861 and he became a collectorate officer after seeing the corruption of the government workers. And then he became a head clerk of the judges court in Chaudhanga for salary of 150 rupees per month for a year and a half. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur will read a judgment or any file, he just read like this and he can get the whole thing. And what other judges would take 4 or 5 hearings, he can give 3 or 4 judgment in one hearing, in one sit. It's so fast. So Britishers were so much depending upon Bhaktivinoda Thakur for many of the works. So generally, if you go to High Court, Supreme Court, the judges keep pending, right, the judgment there, one date after another day. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one sitting only, he will catch what is the point and give a right judgment and make that happen. So that's amazing part, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In fact, he wanted to retire and stay in Krishnanagar. But the government starts saying, "Arey, you stay back. You don't retire. We'll make a railway line." And they made a railway line especially from his house to the court. And even today that line is there. Now they're changing that from narrow gauge to there. If you go to Mayapur, and Mayapur Krishnanagar is there nowadays. So where Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house is there. I've personally seen the train going through his house, in front of his house there. And British government started the rail for him to come in that area. So now they have removed the track currently and they're making it a broad gauge. Previously it was a narrow gauge. Yeah. So just for him. But still he was so humble. So one time, because the train would not start from his station, it will come just from little behind. So one day when he came, all the seats were occupied. So he did not say, "Hey, this train is for me, you get up." He sat on the floor and came. And after some time, people say, "Arey Baba, inhi ke liye train chali hai, aap ud jaye." He was so humble at the same time. So that goes to show a devotee does his job with full honesty and integrity, right? A devotee does his full job with all honesty and integrity. The British government had so much regard for Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the spaceship bed. So I was just telling them, so this is the photo in front of his house, or that line. So one time while he was going to Vrindavan Yatra, he dealt with a gang of dacoits known as Kanjara who robbed and killed many pilgrims. He gave evidence to the government and a commission was formed to wipe out the scout. So even though he was so busy, so much pressure, but still he has a time for Krishna, time for God. Right? Our talk would turn in a few moments. So this is one given by Sarath Charan Mitra. He's a Calcutta High Court judge. He said, our talk would turn on a few moments on the subject of devotion. He has a time for God. And now his preaching days. As a headmaster of the Mednipur High School, he studied many popular Bengali religions and concluded all were cheap and real religion is were established in Bengal or that of Chaitanya. And he could not even get a copy of 16th century Chaitanya Charitamrita despite searching in bookshops. So during the time, 1868, he received a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he read Chaitanya Charitamrita repeatedly. His faith in Krishna developed until he was absorbed in Krishna day and night and offered heartfelt prayers for Lord's mercy. Then he studied chanting and writing. So in Puri, he stayed and did many things. He became even manager of Jagannath temple. Is it Jagannath Puri temple? He was, because as a magistrate, he was a manager of the Jagannath temple also. And he said Bhakti Mandap, where daily discourses of Srimad Bhagavatam were read in the Jagannath temple courtyard at that time. And he would give classes there. And the Jagannath Puri, one thing is there, everything is spontaneous. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought regularity in the worship of the deity. And Kedarnath was spent long hours discussing Krishna and chanting his name, especially at important sites such as Jatana pastime, like Tota Gopinath Temple, Siddhapakula, Gambhira. So we go to Jagannath Puri Yatra, so just like we have gone to Guruvayur Yatra, if in future we'll go to Puri Yatra, we'll see all those beautiful places. There. Jagannath Puri takes 1 day by train. Now, initiation and title. So, a separate formal Vaishnava initiation from Vipin Bihari Goswami, who descended from Janva family, but actually his later came from Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. That's why if you see in the Guru Parampara, you will first see Bhaktivinoda Thakur and see Jagannath Babaji Maharaj. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was Saksha Guru. But, so therefore our Parampara is Siksha Parampara, where Siksha is counted more than even Diksha. And he wrote hundreds of authorized spiritual books discovered Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthsite. There's so many books here: Harinam Chintamani, Prem Pradeepa, Mana Siksha, Krishna Samhita, Jaiva Dharma, Chaitanya Upanishad. And he was the first one to bring the printing press and call it Chaitanya Yantra and start printing Sajjan Tochni. See, now to think a printing press for printing books is not a very big, everybody's. Those days in 1890, somebody think to have a printing press to print spiritual books. It was unthought of, unheard of there. So now he was the first one to send any spiritual literature to other parts of the world. And devotees found his books where in 1896 this book found its way into the library of Royal Asiatic Society in London. And then devotees found also Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books in foreign libraries. And he actually was thinking to retire. But in 1887, Mahaprabhu came in his dream that you have a service for me. Please do that service. And then he changed his location to Krishnanagar. So what had happened after Mahaprabhu has left the world? See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in Navadip, right? Mayapur. But after Mahaprabhu left, the course of Ganges changed. And the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, whole Mayapur, was submerged underwater. So then people start thinking the birthplace of Mahaprabhu is Navadip. But over a period of time, after 200 years, again Ganga changed its course back. And again Mayapur was a land. But nobody knew where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought all the maps of 200, 300 years old, saw the maps, and then concluded, oh, this is the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya. There. And then he went there at that place, and the Muslim, it was under a Muslim villager, he said, अरे यहाँ कुछ भी ग्रो करो तुलसी उग जाती है, ये लैंड किसी काम का नहीं है. Oh, this must be the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he called Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was 120 years old back then. He came in basket and he confirmed that this is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. Nimaile Janamastana. यही पर निमाई जन्म हुए. You see, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj at that time coming over there, and Sachi Mata, the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we go to Yog Peeth, is a birthplace. So when you go to Mayapur, you see the birthplace that was discovered by Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he constructed his temple. And how he constructed this temple? He was a district magistrate. Can you say? District magistrate. collector, district collector, and begging 1 rupee from each house. Please give every one of you should give one rupee to construct the temple. And everybody to construct the temple of the Lord. So Learned Pandit approved Bhaktivinoda's evidence for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. Navadip Dham Sabha was formed for spreading the glories. And Gaur Gadadhar did it. And he had preaching innovations. He started preaching. He started a Naam Hatta. He took leave from government service in 1892 for 2 years, and he made some 1,000, 2,000 devotees that time. Opened many Naam Hattas. So for 2 years of retirement, he did a lot of service, lot of preaching. He lectured, gave readings of Vaishnava books in various religious societies, published a detailed account of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life in the Hindu Herald, Sri Vaishnava Sabha in Calcutta, which Bhaktivinoda Surya Thakur later started as Gaudiya Math. Continue. And one person saying, the Shishir Kumar Ghosh said, I consider it to be the seventh Goswami. So many times, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is said to be the seventh Goswami. Okay, so going fast, I will just share the schedule of so this Bishak Sen, he put him Mayavadi, he there. So he scheduled. Another thing what had happened, the Puri magistrate and the Puri king took 80,000 rupees. So King of Puri had misused temple money of 80,000 for his own sense pleasure. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a temple manager. So he forced the Raja to pay for the offerings of food for to Lord Jagannath that are made 52 times daily. And this diminished the money quickly. The king was so angry at Kedarnath, he put 50 Brahmanas to do mantra and to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was doing again. So previously Brahmanas were that powerful that they put Ahuti and the person will die also. And when the last day they put the Ahuti, king's own son died. And nothing happened to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Because this all things cannot affect on a pure devotee of the Lord. There. So he was very pakka person. So for 30 days went, and when the Brahmanas put the final ahuti, king's son died. And final pastime, he retired from his post in 1894. He constructed on his own place of bhajan on the beach at Jagannath Puri called Bhakti Kutir. So ISKCON temple is there at this place in Bhakti Kutir, even today. In 1914, he left the world. And he is Kamal Manjari, one of the Manjaris in Krishna's Leela. His prediction and daily schedule. This is very important. So he predicted about Srila Prabhupada. Concerning a person, a phenomena, a personality will soon appear and he will travel all over the world to spread the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 1896 he predicted, and 1896 Srila Prabhupada took birth. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And very soon the chanting of Harinam Sankirtan will spread all over the world. And if you go to Mayapur, you will find in Mayapur temple hall of Radha Madhava all nationalities devotees present. Russia, America, Canada, England, Russia. You name a country and you will find a devotee there. Especially in Mayapur. And this was predicted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur 100 years back in 1896 around. And it actually happened in 1972 when Prabhupada brought all his foreign disciples to Mayapur. There. So this was being predicted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur before only. He saw the Advut Mantra that all people all over the nationalities. See, now that look very common for us. Just think 80, 90, somebody thinking like this. And they will say, Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari, Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari. Everybody. When the fair-skinned foreigner will come to Mayapudan and join with Bengali Vaishnava to chant Jai Sachinandan. And just see his daily schedule. If you see daily schedule, please don't faint, but get inspired that if you desire something, nothing is impossible. Right? So how many of you want to get inspiration from the schedule of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? So please see it. So 8 p.m. he will take rest. So now what is the time? Already 8:34, 37. All right. But then what time he will get up? 10 p.m. he will rise and start writing. And 4 a.m. he stop writing and take some rest. And 4:30 he will rise and chant japa. And then 7 o'clock, letter correspondence. 7:30 study shastras. 8:30 receive guests as continue to read. And 9:30 a.m. take rest. 9:45 a.m. rise, bath, take prasadam, half quarter milk, couple chapatis, fruit. 9:55 a.m. go to court. 10 a.m. court duties till 1 p.m. 1 p.m. return home and refresh. 2 p.m. return to court. And Sanskrit shlokas in Bengali. 5 p.m. Then 7 p.m. bath and take prasadam. And again 8 p.m. take rest again. So this was a daily schedule of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Right? It starts from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. where we are sleeping. He would write. So hardly he'll take sleep 3 hours. He write 8.5 hours. Japa study 4.5 hours and work 6 hours. It's a nice inspiration, right, for us. So what we can do, at least don't sleep more than 6 hours. And sleep by 10 p.m., get up by 4 a.m. See, we can't sleep 8 to 10. We can sleep at least 10 p.m., get up 4:30 a.m., and give time for chanting Hare Krishna. And read Prabhupada books and give some time for preaching. Right? So all of you anyway coming here and giving the time for this session, isn't it? So that's so amazing despite your thing. But just see the schedule of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. How many will feel? Now we'll seeing the schedule, we should also give more time to Krishna consciousness. Right? Only 1, 2 devotees have raised their hands. Not others. I think they're not hearing or they're here. And see, he's doing all his duties. He's not just a renounced person living and thing. So that's what the Acharyas have shown this thing for our life only. See that we should do 6 hours sleep is good, but beyond that we should not waste time in sleeping. And we should get up, we should sleep on time, get up early morning, and not waste time in watching movies, YouTube videos, WhatsApp videos, which are not necessary for us, isn't it? So much time goes in gossiping in there. So much time goes. But if we use the time, see, everyone has 24 hours, isn't it? But how Bhaktivinoda Thakur so meticulously using each and every moment. So all of us also can use our time very meticulously, and we also can make a lot of spiritual progress in our life. Isn't it? How many of you feel is possible? There, seen that example. And he is doing work and perfectly there. So we should complete our rounds in the morning time, right? And sleep early on time. Then you will see a lot of discipline in life, a lot of change in the life. And the pranam mantra is Namo Bhakti Namodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaur Shakti Swarupaya Rupanabhaya Varayate. So actually, a lot more is there. I think one session for covering both Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not possible, but somehow we are trying to fit in one. Now let's see about Bhakti Saraswati. Actually, many of the things which you see in ISKCON, Prabhupada learned from his Guru Bhakti Thakur. And Prabhupada gave in a way by which we all can apply in the modern day. Like if you go in a Gaudiya mutt, the sound of bell is more and the Aarti song is less. But in ISKCON, the sound of Aarti is more and the sound of bell and other things are less. So something Prabhupada tailor-made, like the concept of book distribution. It was started by Bhakti Thakur. But Prabhupada made it for all ISKCON devotees there. So you'll find many, many things, and Prabhupada made it way more relevant, robust for the new generation. The Srila Bhaktivinoda Swami Thakur, his life and teachings. Kritik, what is your age?
12 years, Prabhuji.
12 years. So now you will see Bhaktivinoda Swami Thakur, what all he did. So he took birth in 1874 in Jagannath Puri. Right? He's called Ray of Vishnu. So Jagannath Mahaprasad first given to Vishnu Devi and then distributed, so he was named Bimla Prasad. And he was born with umbilical cord wrapped around like a Brahman thread. And Jagannath's garland fell on Bimla Prasad. And Bhagavati Devi with her child. Like I told that last time, right? The whole family of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bimla Prasad, left corner. You see here, the leftmost. So once what happened, Bhaktivinoda Swami Thakur ate the mangoes, Bimla Prasad. And his father asked, Beta, what they offered? They were not offered, how did you eat? So he felt so bad, he took a plan, in whole life I will not eat mangoes. So if you stay in Karnataka and don't eat mangoes, it's fine. But even if you stay in Bengal and don't eat mangoes, that's not fine. Because so nice mangoes happen. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him a deity of Kurma Dev at 7 years for stability in devotional service. Age 7, he memorized whole Bhagavad Gita and could give commentaries. When he was age 11, he made his own shorthand writing system. Right? So those who are children of 12 years age, you should remember all Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Right? So how many shlokas you know, Kritik?
5 to 6.
5 to 6. Bhaktivinoda Thakur at the age of 7 remember all 700 shlokas. There, so you can also try. Of course, I also don't remember all 700 shlokas. So, but we can understand how, as a child, he was so sharp there. And he would do proofreading and printing of Sajjan Toshni. So he studied in high school as a teen. So as I said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is an ideal example for Grasthas. And Bhaktivinoda Swami Thakur is an ideal example of Brahmacharis and Sannyasi. So we are both the examples, right? So from beginning only, he wanted to be a Naishtika Brahmachari. So he made a Cheer Sabha also, a group of boys who don't want to get married. But after some time, only one person remained in that Cheer Sabha, and that was Bhakti Swami Thakur. Everybody else got married. Cheer Sabha or Vow of Life, only he remained to that. And Prabhupada told him, my Guru Maharaj was a Shrutidhar. He had a photograph of him. And he was a very pakka astrologer. He wrote books on astrology like Surya Siddhanta. Received the title Shri Siddhanta Saraswati. In fact, even till today, in Kolkata University, there's a seat reserved for Bhaktivinoda with it. But he did not want it to take that because he wanted to give time for spirituality. And he thought, if I go very higher college, so in 1892, he finished high school and enrolled in the Sanskrit college. And then he thought, if I keep studying at college, then I'll be under a lot of pressure to enter family life. But if I'm seen as a stupid, incompetent person, no one will try to influence me towards material progress. So then he left the Sanskrit college. But still, 3 years he taught the son of Tripura Maharaj there. And Tripura had once been turned to a Western state by the king of Manipur, her disciple of Narottam Das Thakur. So soon he retired his full pension, which he accepted for only a few years. So he got full pension also for teaching the son. So 3 years he taught. He was a Raj Pandit for 3 years at the king of Tripura. Then he took initiation from God Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. So that was very amazing because God Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was illiterate. And Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur was a great scholar. But he took Diksha from God Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. And what he was learning from, so and God Krishna, and he was say, Babaji Maharaj, please give me Diksha. And God Krishnadas Babaji said, I don't give Diksha to anybody. Then after repeated requests, he said, okay, when Mahaprabhu will come in my dream, that time I will ask him. So again, Bimla Prasad went, please ask Mahaprabhu to give me Diksha. Yeah. Then finally he said, I will give up my life if you don't show me mercy. Then God Krishna Babaji agreed him to give him Diksha. And he gave him Diksha. so, and God Krishna Babaji Maharaj would attend Bhaktivinoda Thakur's classes. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, since you want to learn a wrong sort of life, you should go to a renunciate who can teach you how to be renunciate. So God Krishna Babaji Maharaj was a merchant and he married also, and then he left the thing and he has become a Vairagi there. But he has a Siddha Bhava. So that time there were many Babajis who will do adultery with other women. So he will be chanting his japa advice and he will know this Baba is doing adultery and he'll start telling, hey, this Baba is doing there. So he got some kind of siddhis. He's always the Baba. But people would come and trouble him. So he would sit in such places that nobody will come and trouble him. And he's immersed in chanting the holy names of the Lord. So he was very, very potent. Okay. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur will always say that mine, like I'm the boat, but battery is my spiritual master, Sri God Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before he wanted to preach, for 9 years, he chanted 1 billion names of Hare Krishna. 9 years constantly he was chanting the holy names of the Lord, with eating once a day and Dhinakuti. And when 9 years it got over, by the time Bhaktivinoda Thakur had taken here Babaji Desh, means he was immersed in bhajan fully, and that time he went to Kolkata, establishing Gaudiya Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And in his life, he established 64 Gaudiya Math. Established 64 Gaudiya Math. And it was Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur who instructed Srila Prabhupada in the year 1922 to go out and preach this message of Krishna consciousness all over the world. So just think, Lord is so merciful, sending those wonderful, great devotees from the spiritual world so that they can get this Krishna consciousness. And how much they have struggled, how much they have worked hard. It was not easy, right? So carrying that same spirit of parampara, we should take Krishna consciousness seriously and try to give it to so many other devotees. And when we reciprocate with the Acharyas, we also get a lot of mercy of the Lord. A devotee has faith in Krishna. See, faith can move mountains. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had faith that this holy name will spread all over the world. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had that faith that the spread. And he gave the instruction to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada had instruction in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction. And Prabhupada did it. So this faith has a power to move mountains. So bhakti, when we are doing bhakti, we should have faith in the process of Krishna consciousness. That whatever our difficulties are there, whatever our problems there, if we take this faith very seriously, Krishna consciousness seriously, we'll find the ultimate goal of life. The faith. And Krishna helps those who have faith. So whatever obstacles are there, a devotee should faithfully keep chanting. एक भक्त को भगवान की दया के लिए हमेशा जब फेथ के साथ में अपनी भक्ति करनी चाहिए. एंड वॉट एवर प्रॉब्लम्स आर देयर कृष्णा विल रिमूव से. बट वी नीड faith in Krishna. You see Kunti Maharani there. So in all difficulties, Krishna was there with Kunti Maharani. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur told Bimla Prasad to accept initiation from God Krishna Gaudiya Maharaj. So he's asking Diksha. He approached him 17 times. At least in January 1900, he got initiated. 192 rounds every day. Like Haridas Thakur would chant 192 rounds, so like that. So in a Mayapur, in a grass hut, in the birthplace of Rajaratana, he would chant day and night. He cooked rice once a day in a northern pot and ate nothing more. And during Vans, he said beneath an umbrella chant. So treated sannyasi, Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur with as follows. Now what had happened, once there was a debate that only Brahmanas can be guru, only Brahmanas can initiate, and even somebody is a qualified Vaishnava from a lower caste, he cannot initiate. And Bhaktivinoda, or who is higher? A Vaishnava is higher or Brahmana was higher? That's a debate was there. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was called. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was called, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur was, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur was sick. So he sent Bimla Prasad. He sent whom? Bimla Prasad, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote the script and showed him. He was very happy. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur went on the manch, there were many, many Brahmanas had come and many Vaishnavas had come. So first he glorified all the Brahmanas. And all the Brahmanas were very happy. He's glorifying me. Even Brahmanas did not know those glories. Such glories Bhaktivinoda Thakur was telling. And then he started telling the glory of the Vaishnavas. How Vaishnava is higher than Brahmana. And everybody started clapping there. In fact, Pid came to take Chanamrit from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. A crowd came to take the Chanamrit from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and the crowd took Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that was very amazing. Thousands of people rushed forward to take the dust of his lotus feet, and his foot wash was sprinkled all by the police. And then he started going many holy places, discovering many places, establishing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. In Vajrapatna, Mayapur, on the 29th of March, at the age of 44, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took sannyas from the picture of his spiritual master and took the name Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. Now, why he took sannyas himself? Because there were no qualified sannyasis present at that time. And he himself was a Nashtik Brahmachari. So he took the sannyas ashram. In November of 1918, so what had happened in Gaudiya is the concept of sannyas was lost because Mahaprabhu took sannyas and everybody thought if Mahaprabhu took sannyas, how could we take sannyas? But then Bhaktan Sati Thakur saw that the establishment of Varnashrama Dharma is very, very important for the plebeian society. And then he started taking sannyas, making brahmacharis, and brahmacharis wearing saffron, and after some time giving them sannyas. There. And Srila Prabhupada continued that tradition of giving sannyas. Sannyas means with body, mind, and words, person serves Krishna. And the first Gaudiya month established was 1918. A house was rented at number 1 Ulta Danga Junction Road in Kolkata. So previously it has come to ISKCON. If you go to Kolkata, you can visit this. And it was there where Srila Prabhupada met Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur in 1922. This was at Ulta Danga Junction Road. And 1936 was the last year of intense preaching, which had resulted in 64 temples being established in India and abroad. So Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur established 64 Gaudiya months. Srila Prabhupada established 100 ISKCON temples all over the world. And Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur with Abhay Charan at Radhapur. So what was happening? There was a Gaudiya Bagh Bazaar was Gaudiya month at Bagh Bazaar was taken. And there was a lot of marble put. In fact, one of the devotee had sold his house and all property to make the Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya. But what happened? The sannyasis start fighting. Who will take the Ganga facing book? And Bhaktan Saraswati Thakur was very disturbed. These brahmacharis are there fighting, who will take the Ganga facing room. And he told Srila Prabhupada, who was a grasa at that time and came with a child, if I wish, I will sell the marble of the whole mutt, a marble in the whole temple, and print books. And from that time, Srila Prabhupada got it that printing books is a priority. Printing books is a priority. So therefore, more than constructing temples, if you see Srila Prabhupada gave emphasis on printing books and distributing books. Right? So I would say because last year, devotees in December month distributed, Sarjapur devotees distributed so many books, and that's how our new center is coming up. So the purpose of center is keep distributing more and more books. Okay. So ISKCON Lifeline is distributing Srila Prabhupada books. And this was the instruction he got. So in 1922, he got one instruction that you are a young man, qualified man, why not you go and preach in English language? And now he got the instruction that wherever you get money, print books. And therefore, first instruction Prabhupada made ISKCON, second instruction Prabhupada made DVD. There. So he had a brother, Bimla Prasad. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a brother, Achyutananda. He got a nervous disease. He became very sick. And Bimla Prasad took Kartal and chanted Hare Krishna Mantra constantly for 6 days without eating. Then Shri Vaishnava Tilak appeared on Achyutananda's forehead. He said, I am a Ramana Vaishnava. I committed offense to a Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava in my last life, and therefore he had to take birth in a Gaudiya birth. Now I'm relieved, then he left his body. So don't make offense to a Vaishnava, even to others. Right? So Radha Raman Charan Babaji Sajiya used to visit the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bimla Prasad never offered him any obeisance, saying which Babaji would disturb. So he once asked Bhaktivinoda Thakur, why does not Bimla Prasad even look at me? Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Bimla Prasad hates Sahajiyas. And in 1915, Srila Bhaktivinoda Diksha Guru disappeared from this world. And many so-called Babaji wanting to make money in the future by attracting devotees, keeping the Samadhi of Gaur Krishna because this is the Baba. So all these Babajis were there. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur responding with thunderous voice, I'm the only disciple of Srila Babaji Maharaj. Although I am not a sannyasi, I have observed brahmacharya all my life. By the grace of Babaji Maharaj, I have not lived a sacred life of illicit conduct and debauchery. And then he asked the question, if there is someone among those present here who has a genuinely pure character, who does not say, then he can give samadhi to Srila Babaji Maharaj. And nobody raised their hand. Then he said, if there's anyone here who in the last 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, or 1 month, who in the last 3 days did not have any illicit tension at the moment, then he can touch this blissful transcendental body. And nobody came in front. Everybody was fearful. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that means the Babajis around had become very corrupt there at that point of time. But it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who established the purity. So everyone backed up in Islam Saraswati performed Samadhi rites for his spiritual master. So his friend forced him to visit a sadhu, Srimati Thakur, elder Lanka. Right? This is Abhay was getting up after his obeisances. Immediately Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "You are an educating young man. Why don't you take up Sridhar Mahaprabhu's skirt and preach all over the world in English language?" So Abhay told that who will accept our message? We are a dependent nation. Nobody will care. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur convinced Abhay Krishna Bhajan didn't have to wait for a change in politics, nor was it dependent on the root. Krishna Bhajan was so important, so exclusively important, that it could not wait. And Abhay was happily defeated and declared the message of Lord Chaitanya is in the hands of a very expert man. That very day he accepted Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur as his spiritual master in heart. And then we will see about Srila Prabhupada in the next class there. Anyway, Subhash Chandra Bose had come to meet Bhaktivinoda Thakur and said, "Arey, you have so many young people, why not you give for national club?" And Bhaktivinoda said, "Oh, for a national program, you require a strong man, but these people are very weak and skinny. Don't put your glance on them. Let them eat something and chant Hare Krishna." And so many other pastimes there, and so many other anecdotes from Bhaktivinoda Thakur life. So you keep hearing this unending there, unending, pastimes of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But any questions on what we had discussed till now about the Acharyas?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have 2 to 3 questions, Prabhuji. Siddhanta Saraswati, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Prabhuji, he took initiation from.
No, I'm not Prabhuji. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And we say, if we say the full form, His Divine Grace, Srimad Ashtodash Paramahans Parivacharya, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Like that, we say full name. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. He took initiation from, not from his father.
Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj. Because father told, so you want to become a renowned sage, so you take Diksha from a renowned sage. And parents may be little lenient to the son. You need a strict training, so you go to some other guru.
And Prabhu, 192 mala means it takes almost 24 hours, Prabhu.
Yes. So whole day he was chanting, hardly sleeping.
24 hours.
But Haridas Thakur would not take 24 hours. He would take some 18 hours to chant 192. So because as they keep chanting now, so the time takes us very less.
Okay, Prabhuji.
But it's not possible for us to do that. Right?
And Prabhuji, where to get all the pastimes? In which book can we get all the Acharyas pastimes?
See, there is no one book. There are many books there. So there are many lectures also of devotees you can hear. And like for Bhakti Vinod Thakur, there's a 7th Goswami book. Bhakti Samsari Thakur, Ray of Vishnu is there. There are dramas also. I can send in the group. Ray of Vishnu, very beautiful drama is there. In fact, Abhay Charan Day's video, You Are Ever Well Wisher. Abhay Charan Day series is there. In that also, many of these pastimes are there of Acharya. You will find.
Okay, Prabhuji. In that, Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
And first, we should read Srila Prabhupada's biography. Have you read Srila Prabhupada's biography, sir?
No, Prabhuji.
So first, we should read Srila Prabhupada's biography.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Because for us, the most important Acharya is Srila Prabhupada. There. So there's a whole 7-volume book. I think I brought that also once at Come Your Phone.
Yes, Prabhuji, but not yet started, Prabhuji.
You can read little. It's very big whenever done. It's very inspiring.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Any other question? Yeah, you have written a question about Sahajias. See, Sahajias are those people who take Krishna consciousness very seriously. And they think, oh, I'm Krishna's wife and this and that. Karke, they imagine stuff. Though they may be having still bad habits. So those people are called Sahajias. Who take Krishna consciousness very cheap. Sahaj means cheap.
Well, I thought they are people who like Mayavadi or something like that.
Not my word.
Okay. That's all.
Yes. Okay, Bhavana Mataji has a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. No, I don't have a question, Prabhuji. I just want to thank you for taking these lectures on these gurus, though we have been hearing about them earlier also, but regular hearing inspires us. Like sometimes we tend to take things lightly and we tend to become little lenient. Then these kind of knowing these kind of personalities, it gives a boost. I find it very inspiring, and I'm back on track.
Yeah. I remember
Thank
I
you.
also, whenever first time heard about Bhakti Thakur, it was so amazing, inspiring.
Also, especially Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I really find him very, very inspiring. So whenever I hear, I think this is the second or third time I'm hearing about him, and every time I feel like very, very inspired.
The Simha Guru.
Yeah. He was actually hearing about him is inspiring. So in real, how he would have been, it's unimaginable for us. Thank you so much. Just wanted to thank.
Anil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in the video call or mobile call or even the text message, we are saying Dandavat Pranam. So that is good, Prabhuji, or we are doing any offense?
No, to whom you are saying? To devotees?
Devotees or senior devotees. Suppose.
Actually, we should say, please accept my humble obeisances. Pamo.
Okay.
Or Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha. That's better because Dandavat Pranam is used for sannyasis
Okay, Prabhuji.
and spiritual master. Yeah.
Okay.
Prabhuji, all our great acharyas, they slept only for 2 to 3 hours. How it is, they won't fall sick, Prabhuji?
It's the empowerment by the Lord, no?
Oh, mercy of Krishna.
Yes. But at least we can sleep 6 hours, not more.
Not more, yes, Prabhuji.
Right? And do devotion. So don't, I was said, if we are sleeping more than 6 hours, we are wasting time in spiritual life.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes. Nagendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for providing this class. It was really very enlightening. It's just a request. Is it possible to provide that PPT which you?
Yes, I can send you the PPT.
Yeah, it would be really
Just
great.
send me a WhatsApp message tomorrow. I'll.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Yes. Anyone, any other question? Yes. Chanan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I just a doubt, like when you addressed Maharaj as the full name with the prefixes, like we tell during Premadhvani.
Yeah.
Devam Vishnu Pada Parivrajaka. What does those initial words mean, Prabhu?
Yes. You see, his divine grace is used only for Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur. So his divine grace, Om Vishnupad. So Vishnupad means those who are taking shelter in lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Paramahamsa means Paramahamsa highest category of sannyasi. Parivritacharya means they are moving around and preaching. Ashtatat is a very auspicious name. Ashtatat, एक 1008 इसमें श्रीमद Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. So this is the whole meaning of that.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So thank you so much for all devotees joining. So I think I thank the devotees beginning, and here I have more devotees to thank who have come today. I think Yogesh is it Yogesh Mahajan Prabhu or our Yogesh Prabhu?
Yogesh Mahajan.
Yes, Yogesh Prabhu. Nice. What do you like, Yogesh Prabhu?
This is very good inspiration. So specifically, I was talking in train also, right? This routine thing, it's very
Ah,
difficult. So that's where we get inspiration as to what is the ideal time to chant and what are the routines of those. We cannot measure them, of course, as you said that like 2 3 hours we cannot sleep. We need 6, but at least we get the inspiration that okay, this is possible if you get into that level. At least try to make, get into better routines. I think that's the key for chanting.
yeah. And most of our devotees sleep 6 hours only. Generally, most of the devotees who even our working devotees staying in the voices also, we sleep by 9:30, 10 and get up by morning 4 or 4 a.m. or 3:30 like that.
Oh,
And then you chant there. Of course, most of the devotees are able to do. Some may have a health problem, and they may do a late night